Hi guys! Okay, this is my classic meatloaf recipe. Very simple ingredients. If I had a better camera, I could kind of show you what I'm talking about, but basically it's a pound to a pound and a half of ground hamburger. I have a pound and a half because I buy it in 3 pounds and then split it. Some onions. This is going to be a 1/4 cup of thinly sliced onions that's going to go on top once you've made your meatloaf. A 1/4 cup of grated onion, and it has to be fresh grated onion, not like the dry minced onion or Lipton onion soup mix. I always use fresh because it makes it have a more moist texture and better flavor. It's not a very oniony flavor, but it gives you the moisture that you need because of the moisture from the onion. You're also going to need 1/2 cup of Italian-style breadcrumbs. And then you're also going to need a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and a 1/2 teaspoon of dried parsley, and 1 egg that's lightly beaten just to bind everything together, and also a 1/4 cup of whole milk. I use whole milk just because that's what Jim drinks, because I drink almond milk, but you can use 2% low fat, whatever milk you want to use, go for it, use it. And then for the topping that goes on top again is the 1/4 cup of the thinly sliced onions, just regularly sliced, and a 1/3 cup of ketchup, a tablespoon of mustard, and then you're going to use 2 tablespoons of brown sugar to give it a nice sweetness. So you basically put everything in a bowl. I got my hamburger meat. I'm going to add the breadcrumbs, the seasonings, the grated onion, the lightly beaten egg. Oh, without making a mess is a pretty good goal. And my 1/4 cup of milk. Now before I get my hands all dirty mixing this, I want to show you guys. I have the As Seen on TV Perfect Meatloaf pan because I asked my husband to buy it for me and he did. I like this because of the fact that it has this thing that lifts out. As you can see, it's got little holes. It drains all the grease into the bottom of the pan. I have been buying the low fat or low, like 80, it's 90-10 or so, I don't know, it's really less greasy meat, so it doesn't even have any grease to drip off of it. But if you get regular 80-20 ground beef, you're going to want something that lets the grease drip into the bottom. Otherwise your meatloaf is just going to get greasy and not cook very well through, and it's just going to fall apart when you try and check to make sure that it's done. With that said, I've got everything into my bowl. Now, good old-fashioned ways with bare hands, just mix it all together, and once it's very thoroughly mixed, you're going to form it into a loaf. Obviously, otherwise it wouldn't be called meatloaf. This is a recipe that I've modified from different recipes I found on Pinterest because I'm not a big fan of tomatoes, so I tried to find something that didn't really have marinara or whole tomatoes or diced tomatoes or anything like that. This just has a little bit of ketchup that goes on top, and it doesn't give it too much of a tomatoey flavor, if that makes any sense. Okay, so now everything has been well combined, so I'm just forming it into a little loaf as best as you can. Doesn't have to be perfect, because who actually has a perfect loaf of meatloaf? Nobody. You place it into your pan. Wash your hands, because once you work with raw meat, you need to wash your hands. And then, what you're going to do for the topping is the 1/4 cup of the thinly sliced onions. You're going to add the ketchup and the mustard to that. If I can find a spatula or a spoon. Just add the ketchup and the mustard into this. Just make sure that all the onions get coated with the ketchup and the mustard, or drop the onions as I just did. And then once that is mixed up, you add the 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Get this bowl out of the way. Sorry, this is my first cooking video, so it's kind of new to me. Tell me if there's anything I can improve to make it better. I am going to try and get a different camera. This is a camera that my parents are generously letting me borrow so I can try and do this. Okay. I added 2 tablespoons of light brown sugar. Now you're just going to make sure to combine all of it together. This makes for a very sweet, nice, yummy topping on top because the onions caramelize with that ketchup and the brown sugar. It tastes so good on top of this meatloaf. Anybody who I've made this for can attest to this. And then what you're going to do is you have the meatloaf right here in your pan. Just put it generously on top of the meatloaf. Doesn't have to be perfect. It'll fall down the sides. It's fine. And you're going to bake it at 350 for about, text message, or email, sorry. You're going to bake it at 350 for approximately 45 minutes to an hour. I guess it really depends on your oven. Mine is an electric stove or oven, so it takes usually about an hour and 15 minutes sometimes. Just really depends. This is what it's going to look like once you cover it. I'm not going to be baking it right now, but I'm going to wrap it in saran wrap and put it in the refrigerator, so that way when it's time for me to throw it in the oven, I've got it ready to go. It's a really good recipe just to prepare and throw in the refrigerator. That way you don't have to sit in the kitchen forever preparing it. Once you got your meatloaf in the oven, that's when you can work on your side dishes, which with this I'm probably going to make mashed sweet potatoes and some steamed veggies, or some scalloped potatoes would even be good, or even mac and cheese. Who doesn't love meatloaf and mac and cheese? So, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, leave comments below. Let me know what other kind of videos you would like to see. I do want to do a zucchini bread recipe. Maybe I can do that with Christy tomorrow, but I doubt she wants to be on camera. So, I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye!